Hi everybody, and welcome to Coblentz Builders, where we take your dreams and turn them into reality. This is part 9 of our Portersville build. We're going to be working on our lean-to, and we're going to make the building that it's attached to match our new building. Come check it out.
Thanks, Bob. Welcome back to Portersville, everybody. This is Sean with Coblentz Builders, and we continue to chip away at this major complex down in Portersville. We're going to start off by putting some metal up on the building side underneath the lean-to just before we move into some outside corners, and then we're going to focus a little bit of time in this video on the rest of the lean-to. Now that the metal is up on the building end and we have those outside corners on, it's time to start with some ceiling liner panel underneath the lean-to. If you've caught any of our videos in the past, you're pretty familiar with the program here when we put liner panel up on the ceiling. So we take the piece of liner panel, slide it into the J channel, and then that liner panel gets screwed to the underneath side of the trusses. Here's just a quick little time lapse on that back far end of the ceiling liner panel. Again, those of you that have seen videos in the past kind of get an idea here, so I don't really need to go through a lot of this with detail, but our cut guy carries the pieces of liner panel metal out. He hands it to our crew members. They put it up in place. They get that first screw in place. That's one of the most important ones, just so they get some of the metal weight off of their hands and they won't have to stand there and hold it quite as much. And then it just gets screwed into place. And here you see the final touches, the last shot of the ceiling liner panel under the lean-to. Now that the ceiling's done, we can move to the next step, which is what we like to call wrapping the headers. So this metal that goes up on the lean-to headers is very thin metal, very similar to the fascia metal that we use. There just doesn't happen to be a crease in the middle of this metal. And it gets put into place and screwed up from the bottom, and also screwed in on the sides. This step goes a very long way in adding a nice clean look to the finished product. This next shot we move into is our cut guy cutting some pieces of Soffit that's going to go up on that little section on the outside of the lean-to. So once the measurements are taken and relayed back to the cut guy, he gets the pieces cut. They get delivered to our installers on the outside and they get nailed into place. While that soffit is being cut and installed, we're going to get a look at a couple of unique angles of J-channel going up, and this is going to be so we can put some metal in here and finish off the peak of the lean-to. And speak of the devil, there's our metal now. You can see again, this is kind of some unique, a little bit of a sharp angle, but we have some spare pieces of metal that are laying around that we're able to utilize, and we get some measurements taken, we get the angles cut, and our crew members just slide that metal right into place. Meanwhile, we're going to slide around that outside of the lean-to again, where not just the soffit is going up, but there's some actual fascia metal we were talking about earlier, and you can see that crease right in the middle of it, and how different it is, although also still similar to the garage door trim that we used in order to wrap the headers. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, the lean-to interior metal and ceiling metal soffit, and fascia, and trim wrap is complete. And since the guys are down here anyway, we might as well go ahead and attach some of that outside metal to the back side of the lean-to. And here's one final parting shot of the lean-to, and with that, as far as this project is concerned, we are done with the lean-to. With the lean-to being complete, now we can go back up to the other end of the wall near the man door, obviously right next to the breezeway, where we have just a couple more pieces of metal to put up along with that outside corner. And then we can move on to the next project, the warehouse job. So this building that just looks like an old cement block car garage is actually the electric company's warehouse facility. There is our breezeway that attaches this warehouse to our main post-frame garage building. While we were there, the owners of the company decided that they would like us to go ahead and put matching metal on this building, as well as the office building, which is a house at this particular location. But that is for another video, folks. Let's just try to get you through this little warehouse job first, shall we? But first things first, we got to move a little bit of dirt away from the side of this warehouse building so that we can put a 2x4 frame up against that wall so that we can add our green styrofoam board insulation. The first process there is snapping a chalk line so everything is straight and level. First up, we're going to pre-drill and use some Tapcons to attach these 2x4s to those cement block walls. And it's going to be the same process as we used before. There's going to be 2x4s. In between those 2x4s that are attached to the cement block wall, we're going to have some green styrofoam board insulation, and then another row of 2x4s, and so on and so forth. Here's a top-down view of the first section of J-channel being added on top of that green styrofoam board insulation. And again, this is the same process we've used before. You're going to have a row of 2x4s. In between the 2x4s, we're going to add the foam board insulation. On top of the foam board insulation will go our metal. And lickety-split, there's Mike, our material handler, bringing the first piece of metal that we can get added to this back wall. There's a good look at that step-up J-channel that we saw being installed a couple of minutes ago, and our crew member adding the metal. And on that back side, we also have a window that's staying in place that we had to put some 2x4 framing around. All the while that green foam board insulation's going up, our crew foreman is doing some 2x4 framing around the man door on the front, I suppose, of the building, and next to a garage door that we're going to have to work around. Meanwhile, back on that back side, not too far from where the window was, they have a photo sensor that we have to frame around, and also put some small pieces of J-channel like you just saw around that also, because we want it to stay exactly where it is on that back wall, and we want it to stay out far enough so that we don't have to worry about trying to move that photo sensor at all. We're just using our skills to work around it. And some of those amazing skills are being shown here by our cut guy who's making that cutout on the green foam board insulation. There's the 2x4 framing around that photo sensor. And down below that photo sensor, there was a hole in the wall, and it wasn't just a random, everyday hole in the wall. there's a pipe that we're going to have to deal with because that's a drainage pipe coming from the building. So that is something that we can't just put metal over or work around or ignore. We're going to have to figure out a way to deal with that thing and with the pipe. But don't worry, Coblentz Builders always likes a challenge. We always rise up and meet that challenge. Here's a nice time lapse for you from a little bit of a distance away, which shows the 2x4 and green board foam insulation going up and finishing off that back wall so that we can go ahead and get the rest of the metal installed. So here's a look at some of the metal work that had to go on around that photo cell. We had to cut a hole into the piece of metal, put 4 small pieces of J-channel around that hole, and then position it over the photo cell that's against the wall. It was kind of tight, it was a little bit pesky and tricky, and definitely some intricate work, but again, Coblentz Builders rises to the occasion and meets the need no matter how small or cantankerous that need happens to be. Here's the other half of that time lapse where we're going to get some metal coming up toward the front, and then bum bum bum, the pipe. Measurements are taken, the hole is started with some hand snips, and then when we've got a little bit of room, we try the power snips, but they just were not going to work out. So back to the hand snips we go, and our cut guy meticulously makes that circle so that we can go ahead and get the piece of side metal into position and around the hole where the pipe is going to go. We do a quick fit check. We have to make a couple of small adjustments to the trim job on the metal so that we can get the pipe in there. We have to add a little bit of glue/adhesive to the pipe, then slide it into place. Yep, another time lapse, but this time we're actually going to get the metal finished on the back side. And Mike doing a great job of reminding us that at Coblentz Builders, if you dream it, we'll build it. As we begin prepping the front of the building for the green foam board insulation, there's an old door frame around that man door of the warehouse that needs to come down and get out of our way so that we can go ahead and put some new 2x4 framing around that door and the garage door as well. It doesn't take our team long to start getting the 2x4 framing and the green foam board insulation up on the front of that building, but there is just one more step with that darn pipe that we have to deal with. And that's just a matter of getting some sealant around it just to make sure that there are no sneaky, pesky little leaks. Meanwhile, the foreman has put some 2x4 framing around the man door and he's getting it prepped for metal, alongside some small 2x4 framing around an outside plug that needs to stay. Then there's this little bugger we have to deal with. So the old light comes down, the existing wires get capped because that light is going to be used after we put metal on the front of this building. Then we have to also kind of deal with that old aluminum siding at the top of this front of the building. So in order to deal with it, we have to go out with the old so that we can go in with the new. In addition to dealing with that vent, there's some wiring up there because there is a security light at the peak of this building, and that photo sensor did work, and so we have to make it so that it works again once we get the metal put on. And sometimes that means some of our crew members getting into some tight spots in order to solve a problem. Here's a shot of our cut guy after he climbed up into the trusses of the building. They got that vent off, and now they have to deal with the wiring that goes with that photo cell. So there's a nut on the inside that needed loosened. There you can see the wiring. And what better guy to do it than our cut guy, right? I mean, He is just about the right size to be climbing around up inside those trusses. And again, this is going to take a little bit of extra finagling to get the wire nut loose, and in order to make it possible for us to reuse that vent and to reuse the photocell that's up there, because again, that's a sensor for that light up at the peak that turns on once it's dark. Nice little toss from our cut guy up to one of our other crew members with that little 2x4 so we can attach the photocell for that light up in the peak. Again, once it gets dark, then the photocell triggers the security light that comes on. And some more meticulous J-channel going up around that vent opening. And now back to that outdoor plug on the front of the building that I mentioned earlier. So there you can see again the green foam board insulation and that 2x4 framing that I showed you earlier. And now we're just getting some pieces of metal on the inside of those 2x4s for the framing, just to add a little bit of curb appeal, for lack of better term, and also a little bit of a frame for when we put the metal up on the front of the building. But before we can put metal up, we've got to get the appropriate measurements, and we've got to get some level lines just so we know that everything is lined up perfectly square. And demolition continues on the other side of the front of that building. We need to get some of this vinyl siding ripped off of there so that we can get our good metal up on there. And also there's some garage door trim that needs to come down and get out of our way also. As you see, that vinyl siding came all the way down this side and around the back, so it all had to come off all the way around. And now we've got the Milwaukee power snips out, so we can go ahead and start cutting some very unique, unusual pieces of metal to go on the front of this garage/warehouse. And that includes using the Milwaukee hole saw attachment to one of our drills. As you can see, we're going to need a couple of holes drilled on this piece. After starting and trying with the hand snips, it's time to break out the Milwaukee power snips to get this hole finished. So one of the two holes that we used our hole saw for was actually a pilot hole so that we could get our hand snips and the Milwaukee power snips inside and get this large square hole cut out, which is going to be for that vent. And the other round hole is for the wiring to be pushed through for the photo sensor for the light at the peak of the roof. After dealing with the vent and photocell, metal continues across the front of the building over to the window. Then it's time to get that garage door trimmed up. As we complete the garage door trim, we bring the first piece of metal in, and it's going to come across the front of the building. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to finish things up for this week's video. Make sure you keep your eyes open for our next video as we, believe it or not, start winding down this whole entire project. See you on the next one.
If you are in the northwestern Pennsylvania or eastern Ohio area and are interested in us building your building and being featured on one of our next videos, then call me, Robert, at 814-572-5241, and I'd be happy to talk to you.